Greetings, positive vibers. We hope you are having a magical day because we have a very special guest today, AJ Sarcione. AJ Sarcione is a motivational speaker, musician, and the king of positivity. He is the inventor of the Shine Scale, Shine Dice, and is the author of 3 popular books. He is known for his unique teaching methods, infectious energy, and his encouragement for all to ignite their shine. Spending just 30 seconds with AJ, you're going to know that his positivity is infectious. AJ's approach to teaching, coaching, and motivating others should be celebrated, especially during this delicate time when positivity and shine is so important to keep the world shining. So get your shine, and let's hear from AJ Sarcione today. Greetings, everyone. Hello, Positive Vibers. We're here with AJ Sarcione talking about positivity. This is the World of Positivist podcast sponsored by the Positive Vibes magazine. They're kind of the same thing, but we do offer separate platforms just for people who aren't exactly fully into reading. We wanted to create a podcast to bring the inner light worker to fruition. And so we're super excited to have AJ today to talk about his path towards positivity and just what he's done in his life and the dreams he's accomplished and what other future things are coming for him. So we're super excited. Thank you, AJ, for coming.
Hey, thanks for giving me an opportunity to connect with all the people that are tuning into you and just spending some time with you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you just begin with telling people who don't know you or your platform, what your platform is, who you are, and like kind of what you do.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm AJ Sarcione, as you heard, and I have this company called Get Your Shine. And the intention of Get Your Shine is really to help the world smile more. And when I look at what I'm working on, it's all focused around shine and how we bring out shine that's inside of each of us. Because the reality is, all of us have these things inside of us, these characteristics that when we ignite them and we create sparks, it helps to bring out our shine. And your shine and my shine are going to be very different. My shine might be a little bit more bold and loud than someone else's, or at times it can be reserved. And I believe that when we shine, great things happen in our lives. It's a thing that I like to call unintentional perfection, where something occurs in your life that you didn't even really expect it to occur, or it's magical in its essence, where it feels like it's meant to be. And I've had some of those moments in my own life. And this business was really built off of some of that. In my career, which has been a lot in communications, marketing, reputation management for big CEOs. I previously, right before starting this company, worked for Yahoo. And during my time at Yahoo, accelerated my career at this really crazy rate. I grew my career by 450%, essentially financially, and also in the ways that I gained more and more responsibility over a 5-year period of time, which was huge. And so when I recognized that and I saw these things occurring in my life and seeing these opportunities, I wanted to figure out why. And ultimately, I went and did a bunch of discovery work around what that was or what I thought that was. And it ultimately came down to this thing called shine. I always would tell people to keep shining. I heard from people that they thought my personality was what helped me accelerate so quickly. And so I developed a tool called the Shine Scale. And the Shine Scale is at theshinescale.com. It's free. Takes most people about 4 minutes to take 28 questions, and it evaluates those characteristics that I was speaking about and ultimately helps reveal where there's opportunities across those characteristics to spark more. Because as I mentioned earlier, when you spark more, you shine more. And when you shine more, great things happen in your life. And ultimately, I believe that generates positivity, that makes us move forward, and hopefully makes us smile more, which is really what I want to help people do.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I have so much to say now because I am a public relations student at, at Cal Poly Pomona in California. And so I love the vibes of the marketing and the reputation management. I think that stuff is very interesting, especially working at a reputable company like Yahoo. I can imagine how it kind of not necessarily launched, but progressed your career in such a finite way. That's so exciting.
What's cool is my career started in PR. So everything I did early in my career was in public relations. I worked for a big agency. I was in-house. So I've definitely been down that path. So whether we chat today or later, I'm more than happy to share with you the ins and outs of the PR world.
Love it. No, yeah, PR is very interesting, and I love how it's like kind of growing, and people are
Mhm.
kind of taking it more seriously as a profession because it is super important, especially during these times where companies have to be at the forefront to their audience. Um,
Absolutely.
and so, yeah, it's really interesting. Tell me more about what it actually means to like unleash your shine. What exactly does the not survey, but the questionnaire that people answer, the scale? What
Yep.
exactly does it tell you though? Like when you finish it, what does it say?
No problem. So when we shine, I believe it's based off a couple things. One, it represents our excellence, the way that we can be almost an athlete in the workplace where we achieve these amazing accomplishments. The second part is it's centered around emotional intelligence and empathy. I really strongly believe that EQ many times trumps IQ, and that the way that we interact with other people, the relationships that we build, this is a PR thing.
Yeah.
Building the relationship before you need the relationship is so important, but the way that we interact with people really can help accelerate our goals. And so that's another big component of it. And the last is that when we shine, these unintentionally perfect things happen, right? And so when you take this quiz, there's 14 characteristics that I've discovered that when I looked at people who I felt represented those components of shine, as well as looked at my own progression of my career and the success that I found, there was these 14 characteristics that kept popping out. 7 of them come from the heart, 7 of them come from the mind. The ones from the heart are more the emotional stuff, and the ones from the mind are more of the thought driven, but really the application of that stuff. So you'll find in the heart, it's passion and creativity and energy. And then in the mind, it's things like conscientiousness and inquisitiveness, and you're solution driven, the way that you can go from receiving a problem in front of you, but giving a solution, finding a solution. When there's a challenge that you face, you find the opportunity. So evaluates these 14 characteristics. And when you take the quiz, in the end, you get a profile. And in that profile, it'll say, across a very short framework of where's your opportunity, where are you kind of sparking, where are you sparking, with those 14 characteristics. So for yourself, if you take it, you may find, hey, I'm sparking across energy, I'm sparking across passion, and I'm not sparking so much in active listening, and I'm not sparking so much in control. And so if you take that and you and I were to do some work together, or even if you just start to discover what those things mean more,
Mhm.
you could start to realize, hey, maybe even though I'm so passionate, I have all this energy, I'm driven, which is another characteristic, I'm motivated, another characteristic, I'm not succeeding the way I want to succeed. And why is that? The scale can help to reveal, well, maybe because I'm not being a good active listener, even though I'm coming in too strong, maybe to other people. And if I were to actively listen better to other people, they'd receive my passion and my energy better. Or maybe my control is not sparking so much, which means that all this energy that I have, I'm coming in really hot, and I need to learn how to manage that energy so I don't scare people away. And I ultimately shine from them. And so that's what it reveals. And it's cool because when you take it, you immediately get your results. And then you also receive an email follow-up, which goes a little bit deeper into it. And it shows you, when you receive your numbers, where the majority of people land, what it means on the scale, to give you a sense of opportunity in it as well to grow. And I've had people take this scale and take it 3, 4, 6 months later, and they see an increase when they start to change their mindset. They start to see more possibility in their life. They start to look at situations with more positivity. They see the opportunity in things. And ultimately, then they come back and take the quiz, and they start to see a little bit of an increase in the way that they're sparking, which is exciting.
Yeah, I love the emphasis on emotional intelligence and
Empathy.
empathy. Yeah, I love that because I think that that's some of the most valuable characteristics you need now in the workplace, or just anywhere in general, honestly. But yeah, I think that a long time ago, IQ would have been the ideal to have, and the highest IQ was the best, especially in the technical roles and stuff. But now I think we're seeing that that's still a thing, of course, in some companies. But I think a lot of times now it's really how you interact with people and how you come across, and because it's all about the branding of the company and what they want their company to kind of invoke. And so I think people will care more about how approachable people are, how positive people are, than that stuff. So that's why I really appreciate that, because I think that's become such a important skill in the workplace now. And I think people really appreciate all that stuff, especially with emotional intelligence. I think that's really important now.
And to that point, two things for you. One is in my career, when I was at Yahoo, I ultimately became the head of internal marketing. I created this organization that did employee experience. And when Verizon bought us, I was the head of Mojo, all this culture related stuff. So to the point that you're making, very much was focused around the way that people interact, the way that we engaged employees. And to your point, the emotional awareness, the emotional intelligence of people, and the way that they can navigate their peers, the way that they navigate the challenges in the business place emotionally really does represent a lot of success that we see in employees and in businesses. Because at the end of the day, we can learn a certain set of skills, we can perform a certain set of skills, but then when the times get tough, when we face the complications and things, we have to know how to manage emotionally, not only ourselves, but the people around us, because it can be hard. And two is compassion is so important. So when you were talking about the importance around empathy in particular, a lot of people will talk about the importance of being kind over nice. If anyone's been to a leadership conference, or even maybe you learn this in school when maybe someone comes in and speaks, or your teachers, nice is a thing that, yeah, it's important to be nice, but you have to up level that to being kind, right? Because that's where you start to create an emotional connection. I like to push it further to compassion, because when you're compassionate, that's where it brings in the empathy part, where you can recognize, especially in a time like right now, the challenges that people are facing. People working at home, what it means to work at home when you have a bunch of children at home who are on school and you're trying to do your business and they're running in the room, and the ways that we need to be compassionate in those moments and allow life to exist around us, and find the joy in the fact that little Charlie's head pops up in the screen during a work call. And that's totally cool, you know? So I think compassion is really key, which is another characteristic that is a part of the Shine scale.
Mm-hmm. Great, that's awesome. I think it's important too, because like you said, there's like the levels. Nice is like the base level, because anyone can kind of be nice. That doesn't really mean they care about you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's like all a phase. And so, yeah, taking the next level, being kind, and even going further with compassion brings those elements of empathy and caring. And so, and I think people can see that. I think people can actually realize when someone is just being nice to be nice, and when someone's actually taking the time to care and invest in you. I really like that when people are like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then, can you tell? I know you mentioned before about the shine dice. Tell me all about that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So as I navigate my business and try to figure out the way that I want to help to make an impact in the world, I've been lucky to work with different CEOs since I left Yahoo and created this. And there's a side of my business. It's my main company called Inventor, Inc., which focuses on reputation management and employee experience. And it's awesome to be able to work with big executives on that and spend one-on-one time with them, and take a lot from my career and help other leaders hopefully be even better leaders. But not everyone, I can't do that for everyone. I don't have enough time in the day, even though I'd love to be able to. And unfortunately, like the nature of all businesses, you have to make money and you have to do these crazy things to like survive, which is not an area of focus that I naturally want to just focus on. I want to help the world. And so I created this other thing, and I'm trying to find ways to help as many people as possible. Around that whole idea, if you can make 1 million people smile, if you can make 1 million people change their lives. And so I was talking with a friend once who's a psychologist, and we were on a walk. That's part of her business. She takes people on a walk, and on this walk is where she does her work. And we had her come and be a part of Verizon. And so I got a chance to walk with her. And at the end, she said, I want you to be my coach. She's like, you're so positive. You see life in such a great way. She goes, I wish I could just bottle you up and take you every day like you were medicine. And I never forgot her saying that to me. And I started to think about what what are things in my life that helps me to do that? And it comes back to this idea of mindset, comes back to a belief in myself. It comes back to that possibility, positivity. And I recognized those are affirmations a lot of times. It's me saying to myself, I have the ability to be amazing. I wake up in the morning. When I wake up in the morning, I often think of these awesome things that I use throughout the day to make myself try to be constructive and get things done. And a lot of it starts with, AJ, you are able to be awesome today. AJ, you are able to be incredible. If you want to be incredible, the day is ahead of you. It's all there. It's all at your fingertips. Go and get it. And so I created these shine dice that have 216 different affirmations that you can roll out, and they come in a medicine bottle. And on the medicine bottle or the information, it's almost like it's a prescription on the side of the bottle to prescribe you a daily dose of shine. And they're personalized. So they have your name on it or the name of the person that you want to gift them to. And they come in a little prescription bag that said, get your shine dispensary. And it's this idea of helping, hopefully, more people be able to start to do some of that stuff in their own lives with the simple roll of a dice. One of the things that I didn't share earlier is that I believe it takes simply one spark to ignite a path to success. That could be a better day. It could be a better career. It could be a better relationship. It could be a better life. And those sparks are the things that we talked about that are represented in the shine scale and the way that we create them across these characteristics. So these dice are just another simple tool to help create another simple spark that really can make a huge impact in the way that you lead your day. In positive psychology, they have a mechanism that they studied where if you write down 3 positive things that happened in your day, each day for 7 days, they show that there are long-term effects by doing that, even just for a week. You do it just for a week, they show that there's long-term effects over months that help to make people more happy. And so not knowing that when I created these, it's inspiring to think, hey, if someone rolls these dice every day and they give themselves the ability to believe that anything is possible, the ability that maybe it says, today I'm destined to succeed, or in my life, I authorize myself to rise. These statements that make you believe in your ability, you naturally are just going to start to say, hey, why can't I? Right? You'll naturally start to see the possibility. You'll naturally start to see that there is positive things happening in your life. And my hope is that the more people roll the dice, the more that they can take their daily dose to help create more positive, maybe more smiles in their own lives.
Yeah, wow. Thank you. That's really great. I love how the emphasis on like the thoughts, because it's interesting how, when you have this motivation, like the affirmations, and then you have those thoughts in your head, and how quickly they can almost manifest into reality. I'm not going into like your thoughts can become reality, but in a way that is a theory, and I think that there's a lot of maybe not physical evidence, but I think there's a lot of anecdotal evidence from people who use the law of attraction, or use
Yes.
these affirmations every day, and then they see that reflected in their work. And I think that would make sense, because if you're telling yourself it's possible and you're convincing yourself that's the reality, then it's the reality. Then I don't. How can you go against the reality that's in your mind now?
I mean, it's like the things like the 4 agreements or the secret, right? These things where you put it into the world, it comes back to your point, you manifest it. And I have to say, that's why I talk about unintentional perfection. When I started at Yahoo, I was in PR. I came in to lead video PR. But throughout those 5 years, I moved into marketing. I created an organization. I took 2 people with me when I started it. I grew it to 17. We managed a ton of money. We help lead global employee experience around the world. And then when Verizon bought us, I got this cool job to fly around on the jet, fly with Tim Armstrong. It was just, I manifested that by believing in the ability that I could make this difference in the world, right? 2 things for you. One, do you know your high school yearbooks? Remember the high school yearbooks? Do they still have those? I'm assuming they do. They're probably digital now. But in the back of them, back in the day when I had a high school yearbook, they would write in the back
Mhm.
these prophecies like, Joey will become a famous horse trainer.
Mm.
Susie will become the editor of Vogue, whatever it was, right? They would write these things where they believe someone would become something, or the impact they would make in the world. When we got our yearbooks, I don't know who dreamt this up, but they wrote, AJ will save the world. And I was like, this is ridiculous because it's ridiculous. And also, thanks for all the weight that you just put on my shoulders that now I have to try to like do something that grand. And because of that, it makes me think, like, when I do this work, like, what is possible? How could that truly become? And I think that, like, even in the smallness of making one person's life better, when I was speaking around the world, making one person believe in the impact that they could make in the company, or that the impact that they could make in their life in that day, I feel like some of that stuff's coming real to me, which is awesome, right? That is, in a way, like making the big impact in the world that I believe someone once saw in me. But to your point with manifestations, when I look at Shine and I think of these things, I had a dream as a child to sing with Whitney Houston. It was all I wanted. I would be in my parents' living room with my headphones on, dancing around, wishing someday that I would sing with Whitney Houston. And sadly, obviously, Whitney Houston has now passed. And I dreamt this, I dreamt this, I dreamt this. Well, one time when I was young and went to her concert, I was fortunate to sit up at the front, towards the front. Whitney Houston was singing, I was singing with her, and it felt like I was creating that thing that I always believed, that this thing was coming real, that I was experiencing this dream where we were singing together, even though we really weren't, but it felt like I had created this, right? And it was magical. And then that's when everything really happened. Whitney Houston stopped her concert. She says to the whole audience, I need you to all quiet down. I need you to hear something. She walks over to me. She waves to me, pulls me up, puts her microphone in front of my face, and I start going, everyone falls in love sometimes. Sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's right. And Whitney Houston and I are singing together for real, and I'm living out my dream. And to the point you made, like, I manifested that. I made that come true. And I look back on that now as I do this work, and I ask why? Why me? Why did that come true? Why? Not very many people are able to say they sang with Whitney Houston. Why did I get that chance, right? And when I look at it and I look back at those characteristics, obviously my passion was ignited in that moment when she saw me singing in the audience with her. She saw my energy probably just pouring out of me, living in this dream. But where I remember when earlier I spoke about control and the importance of sparking with control when you have those, I also was controlling myself. I wasn't begging her to sing with her. I wasn't being obnoxious. I wasn't scaring her away. I was just likely shining. And that shine drew her in. And next thing I know, my dream was coming true. And that's the magic. That's the magic. That's the unintentional perfection that I believe this work can ultimately help people to achieve, which puts smiles on faces, which drives positivity. So, yeah, I think that manifestation is totally a part of what this work that I'm hoping to inspire in the world does, putting great affirmations into yourself, into the world to manifest the amazing things that you can have. And a lot of times what's really cool, Zane, is like they're already around us. We just have to stop and welcome them in.
Yeah.
We just have to stop and recognize, yeah, there's a lot of crap happening. Yeah, life is really hard. Yeah, I wish my bank account had more money. Yeah, I wish. However, maybe I have my health. Maybe I'm living in an amazing place. Maybe I have a really great family that supports me and my choices and my differences. All these things. And then you start to see those. And as you recognize those, more and more come from that. You stop focusing on the negativity. You start focusing on those positive things. And from that, the emotional intelligence kicks in, and the people that are in your life that are fueling that stuff help you to fuel more and more great things.
Wow, yeah. It's pretty amazing that you got to sing with Whitney Houston. That must have been so inspiring. And then Well, I would say kudos that you're a good singer. Imagine she picked someone that like was. I mean, even if they weren't, I would feel so scared though if I were up there.
Seriously, I say that now too. I'm like, I don't know if she could actually hear me singing or not. I mean, I'm pretty loud, you probably can tell. But I think that she saw that I was shining. She
Yeah.
saw it was in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
But yet she felt safe. She was like, I'm gonna give this kid a chance because I think he's got something about him, and that to me is shine. That to me was what welcomed her in, manifested this awesome thing. So
Yeah, and I love that you talk about the unintentional perfection because I think that's the point. I think, people say that we can control our own destiny, and I think we can. I think there's a lot of control. Like you said, there's a lot of control that we have. But then again, I think that there is some stuff we don't have control of. And like you said, not to push it, not to push the dream because I don't think it's going to have the best effects because you're trying to change what's supposed to kind of happen. And so, kind of like what you were saying, if you acted obnoxious or if you weren't shining your natural, self, I don't think she would have ever caught attention to it. So I don't. Sometimes I think there's a line between just being yourself and trying not to push that boundary of, like you said, scaring people away. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Expectations can be a really bad thing, but they're also so important. When we expect things to occur and we push for those expectations to occur on our own timeline when we want them, that's when we become that too aggressive or too forceful. But the expectation is so important to believe I can have something like that. That is possible. And so you're right. It's that balance of putting it into the world, but then letting it come to you in the way that it's going to and in the time frame. Did I think I was going to sing with Whitney Houston at her concert in that way? No. My dream was to, get a recording contract, us to be on a single together, like, have it in a certain way. That was my dream. But I just let the world do what it does, let shine take me to where it wanted to take me. And then next thing I know, it happened. And had it not, like, sadly, she's not here anymore, it probably never would have. Like, I appreciate you recognizing that my voice is pretty good.
Yeah.
There have been a few times in my life where that's come true. I sang with some other artists and I've been in the music industry a little here and there. And I never got to the place where I had that recording deal that could have given me the opportunity. So I'm so thankful that my dream came true in the way that it did. I love it. It's amazing. And other things in my life that have occurred similarly where I put it into the world. I want to be a motivational speaker. A friend that I went to school with in college, her dad is this man named Wayne Dyer, who sadly has also passed away, big motivational speaker. And I saw him speak when I was in college. And I remember saying, well, now that I achieved the Whitney Houston thing, what do I want to do next? And it was, I want to go out in the world and motivate people. I didn't know when that was going to happen. I didn't know how that was going to happen. Next thing I know, I'm at Yahoo, Verizon buys us. They say, do you want to be the head of Mojo and fly around the world and motivate all our employees? Yes. That's exactly what I want to be doing. Again, it just popped up in my life and I welcomed it when it came in the way that it came. And I can only hope that those things continue if I continue to move on this path and use Shine to find success and help other people do the same. So
Perfect. And what a perfect way to start, like a motivational speech. I got to sing with Whitney Houston, and I'm going to teach you how you can too, or something like that. And it's a perfect way to start that. Awesome. So then, oh, cool. My next question is, what do you have for someone who's interested in being a motivational speaker? Like, where do they start? I know for you, probably maybe it wasn't your plan, maybe it just kind of happened. But what is your advice for people who are interested in that kind of that field or that industry? You know what I mean?
yeah, I do. I think we all are that every day if we choose to be. As a leader in particular, we often look at people that are only in very high, powerful places or that have had really magnificent things that have happened in their lives to be those people. I don't believe that at all. We all have the ability to motivate other people around us. We all have the ability to lead no matter where we're at in our careers. And I think that each of us have a unique story. And when you find the essence of what that story is, when you look in your life and find those opportunities that propelled you, those magical moments. That's the success that we have in our lives that become inspiring to other people. And if you can articulate it in a way and you represent it in your life every day, you motivate other people. And so there are some people that know how to bottle that up really well. And I'm watching them and trying to learn from myself so I can do it on a bigger scale. And when I get the opportunity, I just was able to speak for LinkedIn globally a couple weeks ago. And I spoke for Asia and Europe and here in the Americas for their employees. And it was cool. There was another keynote speaker as well for it. And our messages were similar yet different, but it's those fun stories. To your point, the fact that I'm like, I got to sing with Whitney Houston and I sing for everyone and they're like, wow. And then I tell them about why I believe that to happen and try to draw connections into people's own lives, how they can do it. And it all comes back to shine. And it all comes back to the way that you shine is going to be different than the way that I shine, but it's inside of us. As long as you bring it out, as long as you create simply one spark, you will find this success in your life that you, as you learn who you are more, as you figure out who you are more, as you spark across those characteristics more, it'll continue to bring you awesome, unintentionally perfect things that accelerate you to where you're meant to be. And so I think for anyone that is inspired to be a motivational speaker or be a motivator, just stop and look at your life now and figure out where are those things already happening around you? Where is the possibility already happening around you? And just make sure that you're doing it in your own circles. And as you learn more about yourself and you articulate your story better, maybe you'll find that that story becomes something that really can make a bigger impact in the world, and go out there and put your message out. And recognize not everyone's going to receive your message the way you want them to receive it. And not everyone's going to think the message is as cool as you think it is. And that's fine. That's what it's about. Like going back to some of the things we spoke about, that's fine. Making an impact in one person's life is just as important as making it in everyone's, because in the way I was talking about some of the shine stuff, when I shine, I hope that it helps other people to shine. And then when other people shine, it helps other people shine, and it adds and it adds and it adds and adds. And so I think everyone can be doing it in their daily lives already.
Wow, yeah. I love how you say like all of us have like an inner motivational speaker potential, or all of us are motivators. I think that, and that's I mean, I'm gonna relay it back to our brand, because that's exactly what we are. We empower voices that usually feel kind of voiceless in society, especially when a lot of the times news is driven by negativity. Even the human interest stories, or you don't see as many. So um, we're always trying to showcase that everyone has a story worth sharing. And that's why, if you look at our platform and who we interview, it's incredibly diverse. And
Yeah.
we like that. I mean, we've talked to mediums, psychics, chefs, motivational
Yeah.
speakers like yourself, talking with people who have a very different perspective to give insight to our audience. So maybe this is not for them. Like you said, the way we shine is different for everyone. And so what does that look like for you? And we're trying to give people the tools. Sorry to relate back to us. I just,
I love
I'm
that you're
vibing
doing
with it.
No, and I really think it's great. And if we can, to your point, relay it back and end on this really, I think, poignant note, hopefully for people, is to your point, if you want to be seen, if you want your voice to be heard, if you want the message that you want to share with the world to be received, if you want to find that place in life that allows you to soar and be the magnificent, excellent human that you are, you have to see it in yourself first. You have to wake up in the morning and believe it in yourself. You have to wake up in the morning and give yourself the permission to be excellent. And when you start to do that, you welcome other people to do it more. Goes back to manifestation. When you do it for yourself, when you give yourself the ability to believe in possibility and positivity, you start to drive a performance in your life that will start to welcome some of those things. And ultimately, your personality comes alive. That personality, I believe, attracts these awesome moments, these unintentionally perfect things. And so I love that you've connected it back to your platform. That's meaningful to me because I really appreciate you taking time to chat with me, to give me a chance to share what I'm doing with other people. But even in that, we're doing the same thing in a lot of ways. We want to give people the opportunity to be amazing. And it really comes back to believing that in yourself, seeing that in yourself, and ultimately other people will start to see it once you do.
Yeah, there's usually with all like the interviews, that's always the common theme is like the undeniable power of the self. And so I think it's really hard. I think it's possible, but to be successful. But I think if you don't realize it yourself, there's not much worth fighting for, in my opinion, because you can do all this stuff and you could be, in a way, superficially happy because you have the superficial success. But if you're not, you don't come to terms with yourself or find joy in yourself, I think it's gonna be really hard, and you're gonna have a lot of internal struggle with that.
I mean, it goes back to what they say. It's, if you really want to find love in life, you got to love who you are,
Yeah.
you know, and I think it's across the board. As you go into your career, as you go into PR, all the jobs I ever had, somehow miraculously, the CEO or a very senior person saw who I was. And those opportunities accelerated things fast for me because I was seen and I was given a chance. I didn't walk in the door with ego in front of me. I was raised to not be that way, but I did walk in with confidence. And I walked in knowing that there was opportunity there and that opportunity was just as much to be mine as it was to be someone else's. And if I worked hard and I was a good person, that I would receive that. And it occurred and it occurred and it occurred and it occurred and it kept occurring. And all the jobs I've ever had, I see where it has occurred. And and I think that as you go into your career, just realize that there's so much available. There's so much there. People will be willing to help you if you believe in who you are. And if you don't have unrealistic expectations of the time and the ways that you're going to receive those things, you'll be destined for awesomeness.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think I love how you say, like, you came with confidence, not an ego. I was also raised to never have an ego. I don't really appreciate when people have an ego, and I think nowadays it's smart to not have an ego or not to have an inflated one, just because, like I said, I think people are more aware of how people are around each other, and people want confidence, with approachability and kindness and all that stuff. And so I really like how you also said about being a good person. That's something I definitely learned in how I'm raised, that I don't know what you believe in. I don't know like what your beliefs are, karma, heaven and hell, any of that interesting stuff. But I think at the end of the day, all it matters is, are you a good person? If you are, I think you'll be okay. And I think even for the people, because even people ask like, why do good people suffer? I think like, how come they're suffering if they're good people? I still think it's part of their journey and what they need to experience. And that sounds so unfortunate. That sounds so sad. It's such a hard, complicated structure or the way life is. And it's that I think if you're a good person, I think good things will come to you. It's just not in the way you're thinking. Just like what you said, be open to the possibilities. And even with your dreams, your dream wasn't exactly what you pictured when you sang with Whitney Houston. You were picturing something totally different, but it still happened. So I think recognizing that maybe it will happen, just not the way you picture it, is still a huge accomplishment for you. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely does. Similar with my career and all the things, and hopefully the way that this business continues to grow, it'll do it in the way it's meant to do. But if you're putting the good energy into the world,
Mhm.
the hope is that that good energy just continues to be received, and I hope that that's what people get out of this. So if nothing else, take the shine scale, see where there are opportunities to spark, because I believe when you create that simply one more spark, you really can shine more, and that shine can drive the success, the exposure, the ability to be seen, all those great things that propel you forward and move you forward to find more positivity in your life.
Perfect. What a perfect way to end it, honestly. I was going to ask if you had anything else to talk about, but I feel like you summed it up really well. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up, though?
No, I just really appreciate the time that you've given me. Again, theshinescale.com, a free tool for everyone. And if people are interested in Shine Dice, they're available on my Instagram. They're available in our store. My Instagram's at AJ Sarcione. And I would love if anyone wants to follow me to go there and follow along with what I'm doing. I love when people reach out, as you did. That's how we got introduced. And it's amazing that we live in a world where that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you find me on Instagram, send me a note and let me know that you found me through this amazing platform, because I really appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to share with everyone today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, AJ. It was great talking with you. Good luck with everything. If you ever need anything, let us know.
Yeah, stay in touch. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, AJ Sarcione, for coming on today. You truly are the medicine for negativity and the king of positivity. After this podcast, I honestly can feel the shine just going through my veins, and I feel totally uplifted and inspired. Make sure you visit AJ Sarcione's website, getyourshine.com, to learn more about the resources he shares and what he does. Thank you so much again, AJ.